Hey guys, welcome to the Take 3 podcast. My name is Evan DeGraff, and we have a wonderful guest of panelists and hosts and a bunch of clashing personalities. We're probably going to argue a lot. We're probably going to scream at each other, but that's why we have the show. We're going to be running down the news. We're going to be running down the Fox and Disney breakdown, and also what is the future of movie watching, streaming series, whatnot, and also podcast and update. While I have a bunch of blokes imitating exactly what I do, we'll go to the first one. Ryan McClellan, you've been a while since you've been on a show. How you doing, bro? I like your hoodie.
I'm doing great. Thanks, man. Go Patriots. Fuck the Dolphins. Hell yeah, man. We're off to a good start. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're going to move over to the other butthole who is imitating me. Chris Stillman, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, guys. I've now watched 3 movies in the last 24 hours, and I think I might have to do some reviews finally, and because I have a lot to say about all 3 of them.
I think you might have to relook at your life after watching the Florida Projects, because your analysis is incorrect. We're going to move on over to... We'll talk about this later. We're going to move on to our editor, the guy who is running the show tonight. This man is amazing. It is the Chris Clark. How you doing, my sir?
This is great. And actually, I'm glad that we're all here. Everybody can hear everybody, and there's no muting fiascos. This is great. This is going to be a fun show. Let's rock this sucker. Bada bing, bada boom, Evan.
Bada bing, bada boom is not right. Matthew Kearns, you're wearing the Return of the Jedi shirt in honor of the Star Wars Schmodown, the 5-way that happened today. We are not going to be giving spoilers. But how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I haven't been on the live show since God knows when, so it's I'm glad to be back. This no offense to Clark, this feels like an old school show when I first joined on the panel that I would normally be on with.
It's kind of like you don't like me. Like, you've been kind of hiding away, and it's like, oh, I don't want to talk.
Well, I don't think I was hiding away. I think the live show was hiding from...
It was definitely hiding from me.
It was gone.
Right, and then finally moving on to the Aussie, who finally got somebody on the Schmodown so he can connect with him. Jacob London, I know you finally feel relieved. How you doing?
Good. I was walking around in the dark and I needed a flashlight. Oh, sorry, a torch. I needed a torch and
it's a flashlight.
Get it right.
Yeah. So I needed to walk around in the dark later. But no, I'm really good. It's good. Good, interesting show.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
So say,
sounds like Peanut from Jeff Dunham.
Thank you, Peanut. I was about to say.
Can I just say, the one guy who it always looks like heaven is behind him is talking about walking around in the dark?
I'm sorry, it's early when we record these, okay?
Alright,
to be fair, the last time I recorded something and at nighttime for him, he won a fucking championship, so...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's fair. So, before we start off the show, we have a quick little announcement to make for you guys. Ryan, I'm going to let you take it away. What you got to tell the people?
Well, it's kind of sad, but it's the truth. I'm going to be stepping away from Take 3. Basically, what it comes down to is that my life is super busy, and it shows absolutely zero signs of slowing down. So I just can't dedicate enough time, really any time at all. This is the first time I've been on in literal months, and it's just not fair to you guys, and it's not fair to the fans and all that. And also, I just need to be able to step away so that I can focus on my life and all of that. I'm sure I'll still be around for episodes here and there, nights of the podcast and all that, but overall, I won't be a main part of the team. So basically, I just want to have freedom to focus on my life, and now you guys have, not that you didn't have it before, but you have 100% freedom to focus on continuing to grow this incredible channel and make it everything that it deserves to be. So.
Dude, yeah, I gotta say, I respect that a lot. It takes courage to say something like that. I cannot give you my full potential, so I'm going to step away from that. And I really respect that a lot. That's something that a lot of people can't do because they're either, too attached to something or it's just them and part of them. But I respect that you're able to let something go and, be able to move on. But it's good to know that you'll still be around because we have to keep your asshole personality here.
Hey, you need at least one asshole, right? Yeah.
Right, one masshole. Right. We're gonna move on. Jacob, you hear the news. What are you thinking?
So the big news story that came out of this week was Quentin Tarantino.
Wait,
Wow.
Jacob.
Skip over
The
Ryan.
news of Ryan leaving.
Hey,
We have a
fuck me,
scandal.
Ryan.
Under the bus.
One American, no big fucking deal, mate. I'm just gonna go fucking hunt some crocodiles. Just walk around on my fucking hands and knees, mate. Out in the fucking wilderness here, crawling up on the motherfucker. Hey, grab him, he goes into a fucking death roll, and I'm rolling around in the motherfucker.
Ryan, chill out. Really fast. Can we just say how Clark actually rolled the Take 3 news thing?
Yes! Okay, and that indicates I have more control of this show.
Are we still going? Are we live?
Jacob! You hear the news of, I guess, not your friend Ryan McClellan. What's your first reaction?
Well, if you guys have a look on the Facebook group, then that was the whole reason I was distracted. You would see what I am writing. So, yeah, that's why, dude, it's been a ride. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for the last 12 months. This has been an incredible experience with you over the last 12 months, and thank you so much for all the hard work that you have given this channel.
Thank you.
Really quick, Kristen Smith just said someone give Jacob's unimpressed face for personal reasons. Those reasons we will find out one day. Matthew Kearns, you came in. Ryan was all about you coming on to the team, and now he's escorting himself out.
I can take this. I can. Yeah, Ryan was up when I am back in March. Chris Doman and Ryan McClellan were two of the guys who, were sitting around, and they said, this guy, we need a seat filler. This guy seems like he could fit a seat, and
He knows some shit.
It kind of, I dealt with Ryan before. I was one of the first people that Ryan and Henry brought on. They started up the Throwdown League.
Harvey?
Ryan, Henry, Harvey.
Take 3 Productions, where we don't even know each other.
Well, he's leaving anyway. It's not like I have to care about getting right? Whatever.
Look, we're all friends here. It's no big deal.
Back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, Harvey, if you ever wake up and watch this. Listen, I've known Ryan for a while. I've known him pretty much Take 3 kind of took off the way it is, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. It sucks to see you leaving, man, but you're always welcome back to the Nut House. But since you found a way to escape, I would say just run and never look back.
That is amazing, Chris Clark. You are the newest, not one of the newest, like the 4th newest of Take 3
on the panel.
The newest on the panel, was say. And you're being an octopus right now. You hear one of the OGs is kind of, taking a step back. How do you feel, sir?
Ryan, you're a testament to all things awesome. You're a rock star. What you built, we are paving the way and making it even bigger and broader than even anybody could have imagined. And we thank you so much, Ryan. You're gonna be missed, but keep rocking, man. Never stop rocking, and let all your rock and roll dreams come through.
Chris
man, I appreciate everything you do.
Chris Tillman, before you start shedding your man tears, what are your words?
So yeah,
do you have any?
As you guys know, this channel was started by Ryan and Harvey Dreyer, our two founders, and and then when I got involved, I more or less kind of took over by accident, but luckily
accident.
Evil plan is what he meant to say.
Yes, exactly. But but to be fair, the both of them, they were more than happy to accept me into their group, and they were happy to go along with what I was bringing to the table. And dude, obviously, like it sucks. If I'll be honest, it sucks because just when I was getting at the peak of my involvement, we were bringing in all these great people. Sadly, I noticed that because because you're in active duty and because you have your own personal dreams you want to accomplish, you know, that did start to take away from your time a little bit here on the channel, but I completely understood that. But to be fair, man, you are still a very good friend of mine, and I cannot thank you enough for being the catalyst of one of my greatest accomplishments in life. So, dude.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you for everything you do. Like you took what Harvey and I saw and you brought it to like the 10th level. So I mean, without you, Take 3 wouldn't be anything anyway. So I mean, all of you. I mean, honestly, seriously. So
Thanks, Ryan.
Can we also just say this? Whether he's on a lot of stuff or not, Ryan is still the only member of this panel who would win the Hunger Games.
Oh, easy.
I would get in second. So
yeah,
That's
I'm sure.
Oh,
Second
yeah.
is still dead, so
I'm still dead.
Exactly. Well, I mean-
All right. So before we move on to the yes, Jacob, you are still going to be hard. I have a funny story to tell. So right before we go live, we usually give Clark about 2 minutes. 2 minutes of prep and nothing else. And this is where Clark gets really stressed out. So right before we go live, I close my laptop. I get a letter from a college, and it says University of Central Florida. And that's the school that I'm trying to apply to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I open up the letter, and it says Office of Admissions. I swear this is me going, all right, I'm either going to be accepted or declined. This is the school that I really want to go to, right? All of a sudden, it says, by the way, we need to find out if you're a Florida resident. It was the biggest cock tease in the world, and it made me really just, like, ugh. Like,
it threw you off kilter. We understand.
It threw me off kilter, dude.
Yeah.
I'm talking about colleges. Since you are, go and achieve your dreams, Ryan. What school are you trying to go to?
Trying to go to University of North Carolina in Charlotte. So
UNC, one of the best schools. One of the best schools in the country. That's pretty dope. Now we can finally move on to the news. You can finally be relieved, Jacob. Run that stinger.
Evan's gonna apply to your school now, right?
It's the news. It's the news.
It's too late.
All right, cool, awesome. There's no music, so I had to do that.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Put
Can I?
music too. I'm so sorry.
Oh man.
Okay, so all right. So now I've just been kind of randomly standing here without a transition. I'm not going to throw it over to Jacob. I'm going to read the first story, and Jacob's going to give us more details because that's how it's going to go. Ryan Reynolds will be voicing Pikachu in the upcoming Pokemon Detective movie. First things first, did you guys see that small little, small release that was the Pokemon Adventure movie or whatever? And then Pikachu actually spoke?
I saw the clip of him speaking, yes.
Yeah, Pikachu was like, because I want to be with you. Dude, what are you doing?
Did Pikachu watch Love Actually or something?
Probably. Jacob, do you have any more details for us?
Not really. The only other real details is that he is going to be a live action version of Pikachu, which makes fuck all sense, and this is just going to be the weirdest movie. Like, here's the thing. I was kind of like, oh, this could be a cool movie. Like, I thought, all right, a live action version of Pikachu. Like, obviously, Pikachu is going to be very heavily CGI, but the rest are all going to be humans. I thought, okay, this could be a cool little movie. But now that you've given him the voice, it's kind of like, oh, this is weird. This is now going to feel weird. Yeah, I think it's stupid.
So Chris Clark, we've given Pikachu a voice. Should he have one? I know you're a big Pokemon fan. Should he have one? Yes or no? Should he be defending our First Amendment rights?
Why the hell isn't this Danny DeVito? This would have been so much better with Danny DeVito as Pikachu. Because Danny DeVito literally is a Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds is not a Pikachu. Danny DeVito literally, if you paint him yellow, he is a Pikachu. So I don't know why it's not Danny DeVito, and I'm still confused by that fact, and it's taking me out of the moment. So you have to get back to me when I see the movie and I gush over how great Ryan Reynolds is as Pikachu. It's Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
You said, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I thought
The more
you
you
said-
know.
Okay, the more
The-
you know. I should have a graphic of that.
It's definitely
Yes.
not Danny
But yeah,
DeVito.
So can we all agree that him saying Danny DeVito's a live action Pikachu is gonna be the top 10 moments of next year's
Probably.
recap?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Potentially.
I love Danny.
So
DeVito.
Doman, as someone who looks like Danny DeVito, what are your
Whoa,
thoughts?
whoa.
Yeah.
Delete.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that Evan DeGraff's been fired from Take 3 Productions.
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately.
Hi guys, I'm Matt Curtis. I'm the host of a live show, late night with whatever the fuck it's called.
All right, so
Oh.
all right. So Doman, what are your thoughts as Ryan Reynolds voicing the yellow electric mouse?
No.
He's a mouse.
Yeah, he's the
Why-
mouse Pokemon.
He's a mouse
Why are they
Pokemon, yeah.
making this movie? No. First off, Pikachu doesn't talk. At least not conventionally.
But I want to be with you. Don't you know?
No. Second off,
I'm so-
you shouldn't do action because it's just going to be a CGI stink fest like the Smurfs. And third, what's the story? Detective Pikachu? No, this idea can't fucking work. I'm sorry. It's just even if you had a Taylor Sheridan level script, even if you had Kenneth freaking Branagh directing this thing, even if
I mean, you got Max Landis, if that counts. He is writing the script.
okay. No offense, he is not top Chronicle as far as his works. That's his best work to date.
And that's not even
So,
saying much.
I have nothing nice to say about this idea at the moment. Now, granted, if I watch a trailer for this thing and it turns out okay, you know what? Maybe I'll change my tune. But for right now, no, not a fan.
It sounds like your horn's a bit deflated over there. Jacob, as a detective yourself,
Banker, detective, pretty much the same thing.
I'm Danny
Yeah.
DeVito. He's a detective.
Evan's credibility as a host is gone. The
Just
shares of him
down.
as a host are gone.
what are your
They're
thoughts
dropping and they're
as
dropping
Ryan Reynolds
quick.
as Detective Pikachu?
It's stupid. Now, look, I thought this movie was a kind of a cool idea, but this Ryan Reynolds, like having Pikachu to chalk, wow, that was a bad trend. That was
Wow,
bad.
and you roast me. Come on. Pick
I
up your
roast
game.
you for your hosting abilities, not your talking abilities.
Well, you're
I-
Australian. There's no excuses.
Oh!
Okay, fair enough. No, I think having Pikachu talk is a stupid idea. That's just stupid. And it shouldn't be run. But if you're going to get anyone, and it seems as though that's the type of direction they're going to go with. Hey, let's use Ryan Reynolds because it's going to be a comedy. All right, cool. So they're doing it as a comedy. All right, that's the direction they're going. At least now we've got the direction that they're going to go with this thing.
All right. To the last person on the panel that I haven't gone to, who kind of looks like Pikachu, Matthew Kearns. What are your thoughts?
I have something that can look like Pikachu later, but okay, so there are 3 ways that I'm looking at this. 2 of them might actually work. One of them is a dream. So here's the first thing that's probably going to happen. Ryan Reynolds is going to be speaking as Pikachu, which is whatever, stupid. The second thing is maybe it's all like he's saying Pika Pika, but then we go into his, like, he's like, Ash is like, what are you talking about, Pikachu? Pika's like, Pika Pika, and then in his mind, it's like, you dumbass, I'm trying to tell you this. Or,
That would be funny.
no.
That's
no,
not bad.
No, you guys want to hear what I would love? Ryan Reynolds, huge actor. How much do you think they're going to pay him for this?
Not much. 5 million
Probably
tops.
5 million?
5-10 million. Yeah.
Okay, 5-10 million, except all he says is Pika. He records it once.
I would
Like,
love that.
I
I would
am
love
Groot.
that. So, yeah,
That's-
but
yeah.
also, okay, remember, Seth MacFarlane has used Ryan Reynolds twice for silent cameos where he has not
Yeah.
said a word.
Yeah.
So it's Ryan Reynolds is up for it. If
But
that's what they're doing, I will be like, it will be one of the greatest things ever.
Well,
Here's
here's the
the-
thing with.
I'm not
here's-
a... Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. I didn't really...
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Here's the thing with Ryan Reynolds, really fast. The guy dedicates every time he does a role. Like, he goes all in. And this is a role where you need to go all in.
He certainly didn't in life.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
he
that.
did. I didn't think he was that bad in life. I thought the biggest problem with life was that it was just an alien rip.
X-Men
anyway.
Origins.
What's
But,
up? What's up, Matt?
Mhm.
What you got for us?
No, I would really, I mean, the law, I would love if they just paid him, say, like $5 million to say Pika once. But I think if they're going the comedy route, then make it, like, have all the Pokemon have, like, really funny actors and actresses doing it inside their heads. And they're like, you stupid humans, stop using us as your cockfighters. I'm sorry, Pokemon, it's just fine. Let's be honest. All right, it's true.
There's so many ways you can take that. We're gonna go with roosters.
How old are you? I mean, you're probably less than 12. I know that. But
okay, we're gonna move on. Actually, the chat did give us some pretty good tidbits. The film's being written by Guardians of the Galaxy writer Nicole Perlman and Alex Hirsch's Gravity Falls, which isn't a bad like duo, I would say.
That's now got
I
me
love
a little
Gravity
more
Falls.
excited.
That's got me a bit interested. But we're gonna move on. We have something that is totally whack to something that is arguably even more totally whack. We have Quentin Tarantino, possibly, who is developing and possibly directing a new Star Trek film with Abrams, and it will potentially be R-rated. Jacob, you want more details on whatever? Go.
All right. So, this was announced earlier in the week that Quentin Tarantino was in talks with Paramount to develop a new Star Trek film. He supposedly came up with an idea, went and talked with J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams fell in love with the idea. Both of them went to Paramount together and went, hey, this is the idea. That was the story that came out. A few days later, it was revealed that the film will be R, and that another writer who I completely have forgotten who it is.
Isn't there a writer's room going on right now?
Yeah, and that they're developing a writer's around making this film. Now, we have absolutely no details about it, whether it will be Star Trek 4, whether it will be a film that is set within the Prime or what universe, or what, I don't know what timeline differences there are, but we don't know what version it will be, or who the cast will be, or when it will be set. We do know that today Patrick Stewart announced that he is happy to be, if he was allowed, he will be in the Quentin Tarantino film. Like, he'd be happy to return as Picard in a Quentin Tarantino film, which, great, that would be awesome. But at the moment, we don't know where this is all going, really.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
You know what, Chris? I'm going to let you go first.
Thank you.
I don't want to go first.
Okay. This is never going to actually happen. Why? Simple. First off, Tarantino doesn't do franchises. Sure, he was an actor in the first From Dusk Till Dawn, but that's because they thought it was just a standalone film. And in my opinion, it should have stayed a standalone film because it was just crappy direct-to-video sequels that came afterwards. 2, Star Trek doesn't do R-rated because they tried going, the more adult route in Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness, and those films got slammed in those departments from the critics and from the Star Trek fans. Shit, let's sit down with Robert Meyer Burnett again, and let's have him discuss those elements, and trust me, that conversation will get ugly real fast.
Yes.
Third, let's try to figure out what they mean by doing a, R-rated. Are they going to swear? No, because you can't do that in Star Trek. You can't say anything besides, damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a screenplay writer. Or if you're going to do, it's going to be violent. Well, you can't really do anything outside of show maybe like a laser hole in someone's body. You're not going to show organs all over the place. This is, you can't do Saving Private Ryan with it or something like that. So, what, we're going to see boobs? Oh, again, Into Darkness. One of the most heavily criticized scenes in the entire film was Alice Eve in that two-piece. Granted, she was hot, but that scene got so much crap. This is never going to happen.
Okay.
There is no way this is going to happen.
I'm going to debunk this really quickly. Quentin Tarantino is just like Christopher Nolan. If Quentin Tarantino wants to do something, he'll do it. If Christopher Nolan wants to do something, he will do it, except for The Dark Knight Rises.
What?
And it's as simple as that. If Quentin Tarantino came to J.J. Abrams, probably one of the top producers when it comes to a Star Trek film, he goes, here's my idea, and J.J. Abrams buys it, Mr. Hey, I'm franchise dude. Like, that's how I know J.J. Abrams now. I am franchise dude. And he buys into it, there's a chance this is happening. And here's more a few things. Here's probably what Paramount's thinking, right? They're probably thinking, oh my God, we have this going here. And here's what this does. This brings in a new audience, an R-rated audience, because it brings new intrigue. For me, it's the Deadpool effect almost. It's like, okay, we now have an R-rated superhero. We now have an R-rated Star Trek film. 2, it brings Quentin Tarantino's name into it. And 3, he will get the funding. He is Quentin motherfucking Tarantino. He will get it one way or another. Ryan, you're smirking. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'm agreeing with you for a lot of it as far as, like, I think that there's a good chance of it happening because I think he just had an idea, came to JJ with it. JJ's like, sure, why not? And they're going to move from it with it. I don't think he's going to direct it. I don't think he's going to necessarily be the screenwriter. I think he's just going to have a story credit because he came up with the basis for it. And they're going to take that and run with it. I think he's going to be very behind the scenes, very minimal input. Overall, if it's R-rated, I don't see why not, to be honest. Now, am I a diehard Star Trek fan? No. I've seen the J.J. Abrams / Star Trek Beyond films, and that's it. So I'd be interested to see. I see it like, okay, this is the Logan or New Mutants compared to the rest of the catalog. And so why not have it just to shake things up a bit and be a little different? I think you have to push the envelope a little bit to keep non-Star Trek fans interested. And
there it is.
There are a lot of Star Trek fans out there, but I don't think there are enough to make it a huge blockbuster film. I would go so far, and I don't think I'm incorrect in saying it's not as expansive as Star Wars. Star Wars can afford to keep it where it is. Star Trek, I think, has something to gain. They don't have to do it, but I think there's something to gain from pushing the envelope.
I would argue.
I would like to counter.
Be my guest.
So, Evan, you brought up the whole, it's like the Deadpool argument. That's a load of hooey. Deadpool is one of the most popular Marvel characters of all time. So he had a big audience coming into it.
Actually, no. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that.
There's been a big resurgence of Deadpool in the last 10 years. Look at how successful the video
because
game
of the film.
And it's hold on.
Chris, if you're gonna start bringing the video game into this, real quick, because that thing was not successful, at all.
And hold on, the reason the film was successful, speaking as someone who has friends who had no idea who Deadpool was before the first trailer came out, is because Ryan Reynolds was a funny a funny comic book character who said bad words and made sex jokes. That's why it made money. Not because people know who Deadpool is. These people, majority of people had no idea who Deadpool is. It was like, oh, cool, there's a comic book character that says bad words and makes jokes about boobs and vaginas. So if you have Star Trek, it's like, oh, cool, there's a Star Trek movie where they make jokes about boobs and vaginas. They're going to go freaking watch it because it goes to the lowest common denominator.
So exactly. And that's going to be my personal main problem with it is if they do go R-rated, and it's because they throw in boob jokes and they throw in F-bombs. That is going... And they make no attempt to have it actually be the highbrow think pieces that a lot of Star Trek films are known for being.
Tarantino makes think pieces. Tarantino.
I do want to say one thing and bring up
Chris, what's that, Jacob?
The things that you mentioned. One, Paramount will never go for it. They'll never do an R-rated Star Trek film. Paramount are desperate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah, Paramount are in real trouble right now, considering their two big franchises are Transformers and Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Sorry, they're their three big franchises. Transformers is dying real fast. Star Trek did about half of what the last one did. Beyond did about half of what Darkness did. And Mission Impossible is the only thing keeping them afloat, and that's not $1 billion franchise. They do not have a guaranteed $1 billion franchise right now. So they're going to start
Experimenting.
needing to come up with experimenting and doing things that are different. And that's what I think this is. It's the, hey, we need to do something different. Now, I also agree. I don't see how you can make it a Star Trek R-rated because, one, that was the whole thing with the blasters. Blasters cauterize the wound, so it kind of like doesn't bleed blood. Swearing you could kind of get away with maybe, but it would feel it would have to be organic, and it would kind of feel a little out of place. And if the whole reason that you're going to it would need to be purposefully in there in a smart and intelligent way that would not feel as though, hey, we're just putting in swearing for the sake of it. And I do think that is where we're going to come into. And the last one about now Tarantino doing it. Tarantino will write on it. He does do think pieces. Sorry, he is one of the best screenwriters working today.
That's assuming he actually writes it.
I know, but if he is part of this story team and if he's developing it, he will be very heavily in it, and I can't see him not developing it at this point. If this thing's happen now, look, this thing might not even happen, and I will be shocked if it even happens. I also don't think this will be. Remember, Tarantino's 9th film is the next one. Is the Charles Manson one. After that is his 10th and final movie.
It's not gonna be his final movie.
So is a Star Trek film going to be his film? Well,
way to go out.
Jonathan Peck does keep mentioning in the chat that Star Trek have already started to drop F-bombs. What I'm trying to say with dropping an F-bomb, dropping one F-bomb in a movie gets you a PG-13 rating. If you want to drop 13 or 14, that's fine. But is there going to be a point with the dialogue? And that's what I'm trying to get at is you don't need to have the swearing in there unless it feels organic. Because if the only reason that you are is because of swearing, well, do you need it in there if it doesn't feel organic? Now, if the conversations revolving are deeper conversations that lead to swearing, well, then have them in there and be R-rated, and I would love that. But if they're there because we need an R rating so that we can sell that we are Star Trek's R rating, well, we don't need that because I've seen what happens when a film tries to sell, we are R-rated. That was Batman the Killing Joke, and my God, it was awful. That was not an R-rated thing. It was a PG-13 that claimed to be R because we are hard and edgy.
Yeah. Matthew, you're a much bigger Star Trek fan than I am. What are your first initial thoughts, and what would you like to see for the future?
You know what? I'm glad you went to me after Jacob because this whole thing of an R-rated film that is organic makes sense. My problem is, and Star Trek is not really a universe that, to me, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you need an R rating to be talking about adult themes and all this stuff. I'm sorry, Star Trek has been talking about adult themes since the 1960s, and they have not had to curse or do, go and watch a lot of episodes of the original trilogy, and especially Next Generation. Holy fuck, you want to talk about adult themes, for God's sakes? Yeah, that's all right there, and that was for national television. And what I'm afraid, I love Quentin Tarantino. I think Pulp Fiction is in the top 100 films of all time, but I'm afraid that this, and Jacob bringing up this Paramount's desperate, I'm afraid that this whole Star Trek is R. They're going to buy up this idea, they're going to get a script and a story, and they're just going to throw in a bunch of, curse words and all this to get the R rating. That way they can sell Star Trek's this ain't your daddy's Star Trek. It's R-rated because we're cool and you should come and see our movie. And you know what? As a Star Trek fan, I don't want to see that because you know what? The Star Trek I watch is the original series and the Next Generation and the movies that follow those. All of which, again, like I've said before, they talk about adult themes, but I've been watching Star Trek since I was in 5th grade. And maybe I didn't understand a lot of the stuff that they were talking about. I had to get older, but now that I'm older, I could gladly show my kids Star Trek. You know, Wrath of Khan has so many adult themes. That is PG. That is PG. I watched that movie when I was, again, in 5th grade. Yeah, there's dark stuff in there, but they did that with PG, and you talk about themes of mortality and revenge and vengeance and, you know, all this stuff, and they did it PG. First Contact talks about PTSD and again, vengeance and all this stuff. PG, that might have been PG-13, I'm not sure, but I think it's PG. Again, all that, and you never had Picard have to go, well, fuck this shit. You never had Captain Kirk go, Spock, but, you know, fuck Khan. You know, and it was all organically adult without having to be edgy. Star Trek, to me, is not edgy. It is adult, but not in the 2010 version of adult.
It's edgy, but it's edgy for the brain.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And the problem is,
so
I'm a huge Star Trek fan, so I take a lot of Star Trek is very important to me, so I take this a lot.
Okay, so here's my take on it. Let's say they follow through with it, and let's say Quentin Tarantino decides to direct it. And let's say he is writing, directing, doing the whole frickin' thing, right? One, I don't want to see a PG-13 or PG Quentin Tarantino movie. Sorry, I don't. It's not his writing style. It's not what he's about. But at the same part, I'm not a big Star Trek fan. But from hearing what you guys have to say, you don't want to see an R-rated Star Trek movie. So we're kind of in this limbo here. I'm going to throw it over to you, Chris Clark, arguably the biggest fan of one of the biggest fans of Star Trek, Robert Burnett. What's going through your head?
Well, one, I'm glad. I love how it randomized to Chris being in the center square for right now since Jacob's gone. But anyway, I love Star Trek. I really do love Star Trek. And the fact is, an R-rated Star Trek just makes me giggle inside my stomach. It's gonna be a great thing. And yeah, it's probably never gonna happen. Really, it's not much to really discuss with you guys. Have already hit every nail on the head that you could nail on the head of the nail. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's really just Star Trek is gonna be awesome, dark. I don't want, as you guys said, to be like the Killing Joke where they just put stuff in just for the sake of it. It needs to make sense. But Paramount, as you guys said, there's really nothing to lose. So that's my 2 cents.
What there's
everything to lose, but
I mean, well,
of course,
is there though?
There's really nothing because it's kind of going down.
A failing studio, there's nothing to lose. You got to do anything to make your money at this point. But we'll move on. This story is going to be a difficult one to cover and talk about because there are so many different moving parts, so many different theories of what's going on. Bryan Singer has been fired by Fox from the upcoming Queen biopic. Since then, he has been replaced by Dexter Fletcher. According to Bryan Singer, he is saying that he had to take leave from the film every now and then because one of his parents was sick and he wanted to go visit them. There are now conflicting reports saying that he was fighting against the main actor. There are some reports saying that he was being rude to the actors on set. There are some reports. There have been building reports for years and years about sexual harassment and him bullying people on set. We don't know the real truth. And I don't think we'll know for another 3 or so weeks, I would guess. But we'll go straight to probably one of the biggest fans of Queen here. Doman, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as a huge fan of Queen and Freddie Mercury, yeah, dude, definitely. This is disheartening, and it's even more disheartening because of some of the controversy surrounding Bryan Singer, including some stuff that I'm not sure we're going to get into on this show, but I know you and Jacob probably discussed it on our 2 cents, and if you didn't this week, you'll probably bring it up next week on that show.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for more details. There's so much sorry to cut you off, but there's so many conflicting reports going on right now, and this is years and years of reports going on too. There's so much research that has to be done in order to find out what is actually the truth in order to fully give you guys a full story. I'm just letting you know that there are conflicting reports, and we're not sure what's going on.
Exactly, and like I said, it's disheartening because look, even if some of that shit turns out to be true, is it gonna change my opinion of Bryan Singer as a director? No, because the dude made The Usual Suspects. He made the 3 best X-Men films, period. The dude made Valkyrie, a highly underrated gem from its time. And the guy is a truly talented eye. But Rami Malek, who, again, by all accounts, is pretty much like, as soon as he puts the makeup and the mustache on, he is Freddie Mercury. And it sucks to hear that they were, allegedly getting in fights back and forth. But look, sometimes the show must go on, and at least they have a director to come in and pick up right where Singer left off. So, oh well.
Now, yeah, it's a weird situation for sure. I'm just trying to figure out. It's only rumors from Rami Malek that they're conflicting. Rami Malek hasn't outright said that. So we're not even sure on that basis. Matthew is another huge fan of Queen. What are you thinking?
I think it's difficult because, like you said, there's so many conflicting reports. It'd be great if there was the one, PR release. This is what happened, but that's not what's happening. So it's literally every version of this story ends with me saying it sucks if this is what's happening. It sucks it's happening with a movie that I am very interested in. Again, Queen is my favorite band, so I really wanted to see this movie. I don't know. Bryan Singer, it's difficult because I would love to be. It's just these conflicting reports. I'm not really sure what exactly to say.
Yeah.
This is going to be. We're going to have to do a follow up on this when we get more of a clear idea of what exactly was happening. If there were fights on the set, I hate that because there are a lot of movies where Cop Out, Bruce Willis, Kevin Smith, and Ledger, Cop Out turned out to be shit, and that was a big part of it. So you hate when that happens because you have, and especially with a movie that I'm looking forward to like this, I would hate for that to lead to the product being bad.
So Chris Clark, as this is gonna be funny again, as one of the biggest fans of one of the best friends of Bryan Singer, how are you taking all this in?
Jesus.
This is great.
You are really okay. Cool. Okay, awesome. Look, I love Queen. Queen, I love just as much as Meatloaf, just as much as Elton John, just as much as Billy. It is rock opera to the finest degree, and if the atmosphere of this film was affecting everything that was going on, I feel like you're just going to get a better film if the atmosphere is better. So Bryan Singer leaving will probably make a better film than if he stayed on because the atmosphere wasn't there. Because atmosphere is a lot when you're on a film set. You need a film set, and yeah, we're back to 6 people. This is amazing. But look, you're on a film set, and hey, Jacob, how are you doing? But you're on.
So Jacob, how's the Outback?
It's fantastic. The internet here is amazing. It's fantastic,
Jacob?
and it just dies.
Back to you, Clark. Back to you, Clark.
Okay, 1 second, guys. But look, on a film set, the atmosphere is everything. Because if you don't have good atmosphere, you're not going to get good takes. If you don't have good atmosphere, you're not going to have a good feeling about the actual project. And the actual project and the way you feel about the project is how good the actual product is going to come out in the end during post-production. So, this was... what do you say, Chris? But this is basically, if the atmosphere was the way it was, then we're just going to get a better product. We just have to wait a little bit longer for it. So I'm all for the new director and stuff.
No, sorry. So sorry to cut in for 2 seconds, but literally, Clark, you hit the nail right on the head. Where with the atmosphere and how it can affect something as simple as one take. You guys want a great example of that? Go watch The Disaster Artist. You see how something even as simple as just one little thing can make shooting a take so uncomfortable. Yeah,
for sure. Jacob, you came back from the Outback. We've already established that. Do you have any words about this Bryan Singer Queen situation? I've already broken down all the stories. We don't need your detailed news report because I already gave it.
We don't need anything from you, actually.
No, we don't. Actually, just
Well,
a one-word opinion.
One
Actually,
word
we don't even need that. Be quiet. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so... no, go ahead, Jacob.
Back to you, Jacob.
Clearly, I'm not important here. Look, it's an awkward situation. It's hey, 2 weeks in a row we have discussed a really awkward situation. Last week was Johnny Depp. This week, Bryan Singer. What's next week, guys?
James Franco, what?
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
no,
Rocco.
look, yeah, Matt, you nailed it on the head, and Clark, you also nailed it on the head. If there was a toxic environment there, getting rid of the director and replacing him with someone who's not within that toxic environment, it's a smart decision. And Fox did the smart decision. If Bryan Singer was leaving to be with his family, well, it's one of those. We don't know the story, and we don't know the story here.
Yeah, very true. Ryan, really quickly, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I
As
mean,
you're
I
more
would just
important
say,
than
appreciate that. It
Yes.
always sucks to lose someone that's talented, and Bryan Singer is absolutely 100% unequivocally talented. So no matter what the reason, whether it's some fault of his own that he did something in the past that he really shouldn't have, or he's not getting along, or whichever, no matter how you break down, it sucks to lose talent. But at least we're getting a director that has some experience with biopics. He directed Eddie the Eagle. So it's not some, new guy that has no idea what the hell he's doing. He has a track record. So if it couldn't be Bryan Singer, at least let's get some talent on this, and it looks like that's what we have.
All right. So we have two more little things that we need to do. We have 3 trailers that we had to break down, and we're just going to quickly cover one last story. We got the Jurassic World trailer. You got You Were Never Really Here trailer, and we also got the Alita Battle Angels trailer. Jacob was really excited for this. Very quickly, what are your thoughts on all 3 trailers? Fast.
Okay, I will start with the Alita Battle Angel. That was some of the worst CGI I've seen since Henry Cavill's mustache. The CGI on that robot was horrific. But hey, look, James Cameron should have directed this. I wish James Cameron did. I don't like Robert Rodriguez. Never liked really any of his films, but whatever.
Spy Kids 2?
You were never really here. Joaquin Phoenix is trying to do a Liam Neeson and do Taken. Cool, whatever. It looked dark. It looked gritty. Okay, cool, whatever. The Jurassic World trailer was so underwhelming. Like, this could go down as one of the worst blockbuster trailers of the year. This was absolutely underwhelming. It was a badly edited, badly marketed, badly just
I know, it was really well marketed. It was really well marketed.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the build up for the trailer was really well done, but the trailer itself just bad. It's really not good. Like, at all.
Talking about not good, Matthew Kearns.
Oh shit!
Thoughts on the Jurassic World trailer? Jurassic World 2 trailer.
What's that mean?
At
I
this
hate
moment,
you.
Matthew Kearns hates Underground.
Ass. I actually didn't watch any of the trailers for a trailer because I hate those, so I didn't see the build up to this trailer. Listen, Jacob said it best to describe Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, it's Fallen Kingdom. It's underwhelming. There's a lot of stuff that I did like in it. There was a lot of shots. The T-Rex coming in, taking out that other dinosaur. The stuff with Owen and Blue. I like more what I'm thinking of in the movie it's going to be than in the actual. Same with Ian Malcolm. I liked Ian Malcolm. The fact that he is back. Didn't really like how he was used. I thought the recycling of the speech, the music they were using that it did not fit well at all. It was, and a personal thing. I really hate that right off the bat at the beginning of this trailer, they're pulling another Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler from Jurassic Park 3. Where you end the first movie with, they're together, trust me, they're going to be together. Now they broke up. Jeez, I am looking for this movie. I'm a big Jurassic Park. It's in my top 5 favorite films of all time. I actually really enjoy Jurassic World. So I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm hoping this is just a case of someone screwed up in the marketing, and hopefully the next trailer is better.
Speaking upon failed relationships, Chris Stoneman, what are your thoughts on these 3 trailers, or the ones that?
What's your problem?
What is Evan doing with all this shade that he's doing?
Failed relationships. You're here every Friday night, so
That's fair. Stoneman, what are your thoughts?
Can we just also talk about the fact of where you are next Friday? Like in 2 Fridays' time, what I had to force you to, miss out?
Well, I haven't totally decided that yet.
Well, no, you are not. You are missing the live show, so you can go on that fucking date of yours. Okay?
Not true.
It's not the live show. It's
No.
spectacular. He misses spectacular.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What are your thoughts on the trailer? Come on, let's hear them.
Jurassic World sucked. That trailer was just bad. It was awful. It was so stupidly predictable. Plus, I'm sorry. Look, because let's not forget though. The trailers for the first Jurassic World were terrible.
Pretty bad, yeah.
It looked so bad. Like I had no hopes going into it, and I saw the film 3.
You know what?
I saw it 3 times in theaters, so I actually really enjoyed it. But, so again, I have nothing nice to say about that trailer. Alita: Battle Angel. This might be the best Robert Rodriguez movie since never.
Spy Kids 3.
No, okay, since Spy Kids 1. That's the only good one of those films. Because come on, dude, give me Desperado. That is a great film.
You don't even like Sin City?
El Mariachi?
Don't get me started on Sin City. Do not get me started on
You
Sin
guys
City.
suck.
Yeah.
Dude,
Tough crowd.
Yeah, you come on, man. But anyway, so that looks awful.
Guess we're never getting Robert on the show.
Hey, if he wants
him.
to, well, I'll talk to him.
But you're leaving.
But no, he'll come back. I'll make him come back. I will make you come back, Ryan, just for that. And then we had fucking bullshit Drive knockoff.
No. You meant to say Taxi Driver knockoff.
Okay, can we just move?
Sorry.
Guys, can we just move back onto the trailers? Can we stop rigging on Robert Rodriguez?
I got you on the trailer.
I'm not rigging on him. No. I'm talking about fucking you were really here, or whatever the hell it's called. Because
you were never really here.
I was never really here. Whatever.
Some shit like that.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna watch it, because like they literally one of the quotes for promoting it was "Taxi Driver for Millennials."
Yep.
Don't promote it like that, you dumbasses. Cause
this generation's taxi driver, blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, because Taxi Driver was very much of its time, and it's timeless. Actually, here's the thing: it's not very much of its time. Taxi Driver is one of those few films that's somehow of its time, but it's completely timeless in what it's trying to do. So I'm sorry, but no, it looks awful. Simple as that.
All right, Ryan, really quickly, what are your thoughts?
I got you in like 2 seconds. Ready? Number
Thanks,
1,
dude.
Jurassic World. Colin Trevorrow said it only encapsulates like the first 57 minutes. So who the F knows what this movie is anyway? I don't know. I'm going to watch it. We all are going to watch it. Everybody's going to go see it. Number 2, You Were Never Really Here. Yeah, sure, it's a ripoff of some things, but it's Joaquin Phoenix doing some weird stuff. Who doesn't like to see Joaquin Phoenix doing weird stuff? That's what he does every day. It's what we all want to see. Number 3, Alita Battle Angel. I like the eyes, the CGI. Robert Rodriguez does cheap stuff. It's cheap CGI. It's cheap CGI. What more do you want? It's Robert Rodriguez. It's cheap stuff. It's cheap stuff. Cheap CGI. Robert Rodriguez. Go see the effing movie no matter what the fuck. Just
right.
Watch the movies, my man. Just calm down. Watch the movies.
Rewatch that.
All right, cheap stuff. Chris Clark, what are your thoughts on the trailers that you've seen?
Wow!
Wait. Okay, cool. Awesome. 1, I've never seen the first one. 2, I've never seen the second one. Didn't watch the third one. 4, you calling yourself cheap? Your eyes are cheap because you didn't read the damn chat when I said I couldn't. I didn't see any. So you are a cheap little mofo,
Wow,
you little bastard.
Evan failed
don't,
this
Clark.
live show.
You
Evan
don't.
failed the live show.
We'll make that a hashtag later. Really quickly, so I can get prepared for the break that we're about to go on.
Cool.
I didn't see the other two trailers that I didn't really care about. Look, Jurassic World was one of my favorite movies of that year when it came out, 2015, and I loved that movie. But this trailer was one of the most underwhelming things I have ever seen. It was completely garbage, and I absolutely despised it. So we're gonna go on break real quick. We're gonna have a short video for you guys to watch, and Clark is gonna be amazing for us. We are going on break in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
What the
Okay.
hell? Are you trying to
Come on.
announce a Schmodown match?
But let's move on to the big one this week, the absolute the one that we are now moving on to, the Road for Spectacular. We are 100% definitely on that road now. We have Jason Inman, Rachel Cushing, Koi Jandrew, and Jay Washington in a Geekdom fatal four-way. The winner goes on to play Hector Navarro at Spectacular. The winner was Jason Inman, performing in, I think, the best match he has ever played in any Schmodown, period. I have never seen him play that good. He was fantastic, absolutely sensational. Kristen, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, this was just really fun to watch because everyone was very good. I mean, Koi maybe didn't play the best ever. I'm sure he's really upset about missing so many of those Marvel questions, given that he does Marvel news as a job.
These are used over and over and over again, and that's what makes that musical great. And this very amazing open, if we're gonna speak strictly to the song, how it builds up, how it builds down, and how it goes to 1 to 2 to 3 people, and to now this whole crowd of people singing the song. It's just absolutely incredible, and it's one of the coolest ways I've seen to start a musical. It's just incredible.
Well, look, I will give it a couple props filmmaking wise. This entire song, if you watch it, is done in one take. One entire long take.
It's
No
done in
cuts.
3.
So apparently they fooled me, and I'm an editor, so they did a good job putting together this scene, and it comes together well. The song, it's good, it's decent, it's very catchy. It's very, very, very catchy. The problem is, and it's a huge problem, this has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Dude.
It has the motif like you were telling me about. It does. This introduction song, yes, it sets up the world, and it kind of gives the music its to start off the catalyst, but it doesn't do much more than that. It really doesn't.
Up the world, and also the more you start listening to the other pieces, and the more, and now you're speaking in context of the film. The more you watch the film, the more relevant the song becomes, and that is crucial whenever you're looking at a film like this. Because, you know, it's just another day of sun. It's just another day in LA working hard. And that's what you learn with Sebastian and Mia is how hard they're working to get this achievement. And like, dude, it's just another day of sun. They're just waking up again every morning.
I get it,
but work their ass off.
But the problem for me is that they're not incorporated.
Minnesota Force didn't really do that. And I was doing that with Minnesota Saber Combat. But the thing with Minnesota Saber Combat is they didn't have any rules.
Oh.
There was no gear requirements, no rules. It was a free-for-all. And so I was really kind of starting to get, like, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. And that's when I met Josh, and Josh and I were like, well, how about we just, like, start our own organization? And so we did. And after that, the first 2 people to join were Shamim and Mike Irvin. So.
Yeah, as I say,
and that started in my backyard.
That's awesome, and to see where it has grown to, it's now a national organization with chapters literally all over the country, like
international.
You're right, international, and the fact that you
John Roca.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Oh,
How's it going?
Mr. Roca, how you doing?
I feel like we should be on our best behavior. We are not doing anything weird.
Well, John, we're at 20. We just passed the 26-minute mark on Jurassic Park. If you would like to watch, the outlaw
He
just
says
showed
to
up.
hold on to your butts. All right, I will.
Thank you so much, John. You're great.
I feel really weird now. Okay, like what do you do when people are watching me? Like, where do I put my arm?
Where you've had them for the past 20 minutes.
Is this normal? Like, what if, like... We're super normal. Isn't that what Samuel L. Jackson says? Yeah, he says to hold on to your butt. You're right.
Yeah, he says it.
And
Yeah,
we find
he
his
says it.
arm later on in the movie eaten off.
Which, by the way,
he dies off screen, and that's stupid. I know.
Well, still, yeah, that is, but like, where does his arm come from? It just falls from the sky, like onto her.
Yeah, it's a magic arm.
What? Like, is he like right behind there and just like grabbing his own arm?
Yeah,
like,
It's just the
Also,
fact that a
Chris,
lot
are
of
you
things
trying
don't
to
emulate
take my
that well.
job?
Am I trying to what?
My one thing to do here is to read the chat, and you're taking my job.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm doing very poorly at this right now, and so I'm trying to take my mind off the fact that I suck ass at this game.
Hey. Don't say that. That's not
All right,
nice.
I'm going to ignore the chat, Matt. Do your job. Do your effing job.
You.
I just blew myself up, I think. Nope, I didn't.
Don't
just
censor
blew yourself?
Speak from the heart. You from your R-rated heart.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Take 3 Late Night with Take 3. We have some more things to run down. We're going to be talking about the Disney and Fox breakdown, what that deal could potentially hold, and what that means for the future of cinema for the short time future. And also, we're going to be talking about the future of movie watching, as that could potentially change very fast, and also the streaming, what is going to happen in streams and what's going to happen in theaters. And Jacob and I will give you guys an update on the website/podcast, because there has been a bit of confusion going on. We want to try and clear things up and make sure you guys know how to get to our RSS feed. So we're going to break down what is going on with Disney and Fox, what kind of talks are they having, what implications could it be having for the movie world or for the corporate world even. Jacob, I'm going to let you break down this story because you know the most about it.
All right.
What are the facts?
Okay. So at the moment, the facts that we know is we know nothing. Like that is what is actually completely 100% factual. We know nothing. So all of this is rumor and
reports. There are some reports.
And so none of it has been confirmed. However, a lot of things don't get confirmed before we find out about them. So at the moment, it looks at Disney is in talks to acquire 21st Century Fox, and it looks like it's picking up steam to the point where today, both the latest report is that they are just working out the fine print. That they are at that level, that they are working out the fine print, and they are just they're there now. What this will mean is, so the report I'm reading off at the moment from Variety is Disney is negotiating a deal valued at $74 billion, which is calculated as a 30% premium on the $54 billion enterprise value of the assets in question. The assets on the table include 20th Century Fox Film and TV Studio, the FX Networks, Nat Geo Channels Group, 22 regional sports networks, Fox's collection of international channels, including Star India, and a 39% stake in Sky. Staying behind would be the Fox Broadcasting Co., the 28 O&O TV Fox O&O TV stations, and the national Fox Sports and Fox News operations. Yeah. So that is what Disney are buying. They predict that Disney would spend would eventually another 20 billion. Sorry, no, so Disney. So $74 billion. That's what they're saying that Disney's originally going to spend. They are then predicting that Disney would spend another $20 billion or so to acquire the remaining stake of Sky. Fox, which owns 39%, is in the middle of trying to buy out Sky, which has been held up by the UK regulatory review. Disney might have an easier passage through the UK approval system. This is insane. So
okay, so just for the viewers that they know, Sky is Sky Sports. Sky is a huge thing in the UK, right?
It's a huge thing in the UK. It's a huge thing here in Australia. It's a huge. We have huge, like, Sky News is one of the largest 24-hour news stations in Australia. It is one of the more, and it's also, but it is also very much a right-wing leaning news station.
That makes sense, as Fox News is too. I'm not taking shots. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I know.
So they're looking to buy Fox News as well, and they're also looking to buy Fox Sports.
No. Fox News and Fox Sport are staying behind. So, sorry, I don't think I made that clear. So, staying behind for 21st Century Fox is the Fox Broadcasting Company, the 28 Fox O&O TV stations, and the national Fox Sports and Fox TV News. So they're what's staying behind. The big thing is the purchase of 20th Century Fox TV and film studio. Yes. That's the big story here. And that's where it's, all right, where are they? What are they going to do with that huge library of film and TV? Because that library is huge. That is an absolutely huge library. And even FX, like FX itself is huge as well, with the streaming service that FX has. Like, all of Simpsons is on FX. Every single Simpsons that is on FX World. So I don't know. This is huge.
Yeah, huge it is. As someone who's kind of interested in the corporate side of film, Chris Doman, your thoughts on everything that was just unloaded onto you and what this could potentially mean for the mouse that we like to call Disney.
Well, I just want to own the world like I already do. So the thing is, this, much like with any corporation that wants to buy out another one, for the right price, anything can happen. Just ask the guys at There'll Be Trivia. I'm kidding. That was a true just collaboration and whatever. The thing is, I think this can be good on some levels, but it's going to be hurtful in other departments. There's always a bit of give and take when you have a situation like this. And the question is, for film and television moving forward, is the good going to outweigh the bad? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves here, first and foremost, in my opinion. And I think if Disney can do this and not completely say everything that you guys are trying to do, you have to drop it and or make it more family friendly. That's the thing that you know, the people who don't read up on the news, that's the first thing they're going to jump to, like, oh, well, it's Disney, so they're just going to say, well, Alien now has to be PG-13, and now every, X-Men can't swear anymore, Deadpool can't swear anymore. It's like, okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. If Disney is smart, and let's face facts, they are, they'll pretty much just be like, okay, so you guys want to keep doing what you're doing on all your respective networks and all your respective studios? Cool. You guys do it, as long as it's not, too stupidly controversial. Awesome. You just do you, and we just sign your paychecks. Hopefully, that's what happens. I doubt that's what will happen, but yes, Jacob.
Do you just need to also mention something?
I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry.
I can't
another.
We can hear Jacob.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear Jacob.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
We can hear. We can hear Chris. We cannot hear Chris.
I heard.
Funny.
I can hear Chris. This is weird. I can hear Chris.
I don't think Chris can hear us.
But Chris can't hear us. But
okay.
Okay.
No,
sorry. Moving on. All right. the big thing that I think a lot of people they're all talking about, what other franchises do Fox own? The thing is, we don't know what Fox actually owns. There is a lot of, well, okay, here's the thing. Fox owns a lot of property. Like, just because a film has 20th Century Fox before it doesn't mean that 20th Century Fox owns it. A lot, and this is a part of the deal that a lot of people are missing. Fox has distribution deals with a lot of studios and a lot of films. That doesn't mean that they actually own the rights. So, like, something I'm trying to remember what a big one is, and I'm trying to look it up. But a film like
Alien.
Alien they do own. I'm literally just trying to look it up. Hang on, let me.
I mean, going back in the day, Empire Strikes Back was technically a Lucasfilm production that distributed.
So yeah, Star Wars. Let's go with that.
So okay, we'll go with Star Wars. Star Wars was a film that was done by. So that's why Disney was able to buy Star Wars, the property, even though it was a 20th Century Fox thing. 20th Century Fox didn't own it, whereas in Lucasfilm owned Star Wars. So a lot of these deals. So just because, like, you know, hey, so 20, they'll get X-Men back. Yes, they will get Fantastic Four back. Yes, but they will DreamWorks. DreamWorks is the big thing, because I've heard a lot of people say Disney are going to buy DreamWorks. DreamWorks only have a distribution deal with Fox, and that's it. So where all of DreamWorks films are distributed by Fox, that doesn't mean that when Disney buy Fox, they're buying DreamWorks as well. No, that it just means that DreamWorks will have to find another studio to do a distribution deal with.
Or who knows? What if they're buying the distribution rights as well, though? Like,
well,
that's something they've talked about.
But that is something they could do. But again, that comes down to different types of contracts with those individual studios, and that is a conversation for much further down the line. The conversation right now will be with, we just want the Fox assets, and that's the conversation that we are hearing about, is the Fox assets is where it's coming from, is that's what they're purchasing. And that's also why they're getting around the regulatory business, which is they're buying things like they're buying the assets, they're not buying the network. And that's how they can get around the regulatory thing. It's because I am buying... I'm buying this one thing. I'm buying a brick and mortar store. I am instead of the brand, if that makes sense. Like, you're buying the asset from them instead of the brand. So when it comes over to Disney, it will not be called 20th Century Fox. No. It will, because they can't. Otherwise, they are buying their network, and that is where the issue is going to come from. And this is now where we're going to start getting into. We will not know what Disney have actually bought until we see these contracts.
Yes,
and that is going to be a very interesting day.
It will be a very interesting day. Chris, you're a big fan of the mouse, and I'm speaking to Clark here, and you like some of the 21st century, I can't speak, Fox movies. What is the mouse doing here?
Look, them buying Simpsons is all. I love the Simpsons. Them buying it's just basically Disney acquiring more and more and more, and they were just an unstoppable force. And honestly, is it not coming off as kind of a monopolization? It kind of comes off to me like that a little bit, but it's going to be fine. We're finally going to probably get Fantastic Four in Phase 4, which is something that makes a lot of sense. It's fine. The deal is okay. And with DreamWorks, they're not buying the distribution rights to that, because that's billions of dollars by itself. DreamWorks is. I would say there's a lot of success that DreamWorks has had. It's like Pixar. Anyway, DreamWorks isn't going to have trouble finding another distributor, and honestly, we just have to see how it goes, because none of us really know the whole picture until it's all said and done and put on the final line.
I think something we need to know: a monopoly is when something can't enter the market. at the moment, production studios can still enter the market. I don't think this deal will cause for a monopoly. I think there's a certain monopoly that maybe this deal could cause an effect of, but not in the movie going experience will it cost monopoly at all. Like, I don't see that happening at all. Matthew Kearns, where's your head going with all this?
It's interesting. I think, like Jacob said, we have to sort of see what happens when they, dot the I's and cross the T's and see what exactly are they owning. I mean, I am getting excited about prospects of, like, the Fantastic Four being a part of Marvel and maybe finally get a good version of those movies. I am mad with this DreamWorks thing because now this means my dream of an Ants Bugs Life crossover never gonna happen.
Jeez.
God, I wanted that so badly, but that was just all lead up for that joke. I don't know what I'm saying here. It's all corporate BS-y stuff that, like, I don't really get into. Call me when we figure out exactly what they own, and I can tell you how I feel with, is Disney going to finally end The Simpsons? Who knows? We'll have. I think Family Guy would be out the door, but we'll have to see.
Ryan, you kind of account for yourself to being a bit business savvy. You like to be kind of a producer type of mind and thought and feel. If you're a producer right now and you're sitting at either a Fox or, where's your head racing?
I'm looking at it like Disney's making a smart business move. I mean, they're doing what they should do, and that's expand and that's grow. If they have the assets and the money available to purchase 21st Century Fox, might as well. There's a lot to gain from them purchasing it, and 21st Century Fox doesn't have a lot to lose because they're going to get money out of it. So them moving on and them Disney moving forward and constantly buying more assets and being able to utilize that, it just makes sense. And while it's not quite a monopoly, I can see it being headed that way, very, very far distance off. But Disney's buying a lot of stuff up, and they're not going to stop anytime soon because they keep making more and more money, and their franchises keep getting bigger and bigger. And to me, it's exciting. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Again, we've all said we don't know exactly what they're going to own, but I'm excited to see where it goes from here for sure.
There's a lot of comments in here that I want to hit on really fast. There's a lot of worry. People were saying as long as Deadpool stays R, I'm game. Sorry, not gain. There's also some worry, like, some people might lose their jobs, or it's going to potentially ruin the industry. I don't think one studio buying assets from another is going to ruin the industry. No matter what, we're still going to get movies. I think that's something that we need to realize. Ruining an industry is the fact that we don't get movies anymore. We're still going to get movies. And from Warner Brothers, from Sony, Sony hacks, bankruptcy, whatever. Or now Disney and the assets from 20th Century Fox. A24 has put out a crap ton of really well-made movies this year. So there's a lot going on for sure. Will it cause some people to lose their jobs? We'll find that out with the contracts, but I would imagine with the assets that they buy, they're also saying, we get that team as well. Remember, this is a $94 billion contract from what we're hearing. That is a lot of money going around. So I kind of want to come there. There are some upsides to this, and there are potentially some downsides. I see more ups than downs for sure. As look, Deadpool will be rated R. Logan will be rated R. Or if they do another Wolverine movie for God knows what, it made so much money, we do another one. Whatever. But Deadpool 2 will, if it still moves over, will still be rated R. Deadpool 3, which I'm sure they will make, will be rated R. That is my thing right now. I find it to be that we need to make sure that everybody is in the same mindset. Like, okay, we can't freak out about this because as film fans, we need to decide what is good film, what is bad. And we look, what we give money to, what movies and what TV shows we watch, that is our dollar. That is us telling the company we like this. Also, over to Graham. Thank you for being, your first stop since reaching out beyond Schmoville. I appreciate you. I've also met you in real life. You're a cool dude. Awesome. I just want to shout you out really quick. Jacob, you have some more details that you want to reveal.
No, okay. There's not more. It's not that there's more details. It's this idea of a monopoly, and a lot of the criticism I'm starting to see online about how, well, this is going to increase Disney's market share, and how since 2010 the film attendance peaked in 2009. There has not been a year other from 2009 onwards where the amount of people who went to the movies has been higher. We've had higher years in box office simply because ticket prices have been going up. And a lot of people are starting to criticize Disney, and they're starting to criticize more people about how they have now gone, oh, they're only making blockbusters and they're taking away from the smaller independent films, and people are going to lose their jobs. Well, here's my thing with that. That's not Disney and the studio's fault. That's on us. That's on the media corporations who, for the last 6 years, have only focused on these big blockbusters because those are the movies that get those are the articles that get reviews and clicks, and people see those articles more than, hey, this tiny independent film that is incredible and you have to go see it, versus the new Jurassic World trailer. Now, what one is going to get more views and what one is going to get more clicks? The Jurassic World trailer. Studios are just playing to the market. I can guarantee you, if the smaller independent film was getting more money than Jurassic World, guess what studios would be making next week? But instead, you guys decide what should studios give you. They should give you more bigger and more action blockbusters, because that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They're going to the market. Now, so blaming, but if Disney do this, it's just going to hurt the market even more. It's your fault. Stop blaming someone else because you decide to go see the latest blockbuster instead of the small independent films. I'm sorry, but that is where we are. Variety are doing it. All these online things and all these online people criticizing, saying this thing is going to destroy Hollywood. Then from now on, never ever put your money where your mouth is. Don't ever get on a video talking about a big summer blockbuster again and only talk about the indies. If that is what you believe in, just do that. But you can't, because that's not sustainable in today's film era. That is the appetite of the audience. And we have let ourselves get to this point. And that is why I am saying that we can't criticize a studio for doing this when this is what we wanted. This is what we have asked for. This is what we have shown in our box office dollars. Now, the other thing I do now, just to completely destroy this and show, hey, I'm part of the problem, Graham puts in something that we will never see the original Star Wars cuts. I will bet you anything you like, but if this deal goes through this weekend, by the time for Last Jedi is on Blu-ray, we will have the original Star Wars cut, because Disney will own all of the Star Wars films.
Yep.
They don't own Star Wars. They own the Star Wars rights from now on. They buy it from 20th Century Fox. They will finally own A New Hope. And they can release whenever they want and don't have to make a deal. And we will actually get the original Star Wars trilogy. I'm willing to bet anything.
Yeah, on the topic of distribution and the fact that the movie-going audience is changing and we're starting to see different films and whatnot, we're going to move our discussion over to the future of movie watching in theaters and streaming, because there's something in this deal that really caught my eye. If this deal goes through, reports are saying that Disney will own 60% of Hulu. That is a big chunk of a big streaming service. What I think that means is, Jacob and I have both been talking about this, is that that will become the new Disney streaming services that we keep hearing reports about, you know, what they're actually going to put their stuff on, what's that going to include. But that's a different conversation. But I want to specifically talk about, what are we expecting for the future of cinema? Are we all, in the next 5 years, are we all going to just be sitting down on our couches watching brand new movies? Or are we all going to be seeing new, bigger, inventive theaters? Are you starting to see cheaper ticket prices with the Movie Pass and also this other competitor that's trying to outdo Movie Pass but is completely failing? What are we going to be expecting? There's so many different unknowns, especially with this deal as well, and just more things going on. Chris Clark, what are your thoughts?
Well, look, them acquiring Hulu would be amazing, because then people can just keep, if they're in Hulu, keep their account with Hulu, and they're not paying a third extra amount for another streaming service. Because some people have Hulu, some people have Netflix, both. And to add another streaming service expense to that is probably counterintuitive for Disney themselves. But I feel like, in terms of this affecting movies going to theaters, a lot of people have said that. Spielberg has said that. A lot of the big directors have said that. I don't foresee that happening, because people still see the need to see an actual movie in an actual theater. There's something about seeing a movie in the theater, not streaming it off of a laptop or a TV, that makes it special for the first time. So I don't think that's ever going to leave us. But again, I could be wrong about that, but to me, you can't really beat seeing a new movie in a theater, and I don't really look forward to any kind of future where that doesn't exist anymore.
Jacob, you're chomping at the bit.
I think we go back to what the 70s was, where a movie is released, it stays in theaters for about 3 or 4 months, whereas it stays in theaters for months, and then it leaves theaters and goes onto home streaming. And that's for the blockbusters. Whereas I don't. 5 years from now, you won't be able to see a film like The Disaster Artist in theaters. You won't be able to see a film like The Florida Project in a movie theater. It will all be on home streaming, but you'll still be able to see Star Wars in a movie theater, and you'll still be able to see Avengers.
I think I might have to retract that. And this is just based off of this year's stats. A24 is the studio that has been releasing projects such as The Disaster Artist, such as The Florida Project, such as Lady Bird. Those are all very Oscar-like type films, but they've been doing pretty well in theaters. Not extremely well, but pretty well. And I wonder, if we have a studio like A24 producing these types of films, and they're actually making a decent margin of profit, like they have been this year. Maybe this could be a shift of, we are finally getting back to those early 2000s, 90s, $30 to $40 million films. Or are those films just going to go straight to streaming and no one's going to have the chance to see those types of movies? Doman, are we going to be seeing the beautiful shot film, The Florida Project, in theaters in 5 years?
You had to go. You had to go for the one thing I enjoy about it. For one of two things. Actually, I think Jacob. Yeah, I'm actually on Jacob's side with this one. It's gonna go back to that. It's going to, and there is nothing we can do about that. Because how are these smaller companies going to make their money? They're going to make their money if people are actually watching these movies, and if they are giving the network the ratings they want. That's going to be the only way that these studios actually make their money moving forward. Sadly.
Yeah. Matt, do we see independent films making money in theaters anymore, or is that all down the drain?
God, it's difficult because you look at, let's just compare a movie, Last Jedi, and 3 Billboards. I bought my tickets for Last Jedi in October. I'm going to see it on Friday. I went. I need to see this in the theaters. And then you got them with 3 Billboards, which is getting, great reviews and all this Oscar buzz, and I'm going, I'm not sure if I need to rush out and see it in theaters. And the sad thing is, that is the thought process of a lot of people, is the big explosion, awesome stuff that you need a really good sound system for. You need to see that in theaters. But then you got a movie like Wonder or something, you're like, I may go and see some theaters, but I don't have to. I mean, I look at my parents. Like, my mom wants to see that movie Wonder. My mom is not rushing out. She's gonna wait for it to. She's probably not even gonna wait until it's on event. She's gonna HBO or Cinemax or Netflix. Like, this is, and it sucks. This is a day and age we live in where I think the thing that is killing theaters, like going to the movie theater, is actually something that we all love, which is Netflix, Hulu, on demand, iTunes, all this. It killed it, because now I go, do I rush out and do I pay $12+ to go and see Lady Bird in the theater, or do I wait a couple of months and will I just see it when it's released on Netflix? I pay $8 for, and or wait for it to come on demand and pay like $3, and I can have like 50 people in my house and I pay one flat fee instead of go and see this movie in theaters and everyone has to pay 50, for 50 movie tickets. It sucks because it's a thing that kills indie movies in a way, because people, I want to see movies like Disaster or stuff like that, but there are people who care. They don't care because they don't recognize these people. That doesn't look like a cool movie that they have to see in theaters, and that's sadly is what is killing it. And it's just, the worst part is that's not, and then you also have these stupid things like Regal's ticket prices based on anticipation for a movie. Like, this is all stuff that is just killing theaters. And that's just because, I love to see movie theaters. I love to go to a movie theater and see it. And the fact that we're having this discussion about, is there going to be a point where I can't, I'm going to go and see Disaster Artist in theaters. It sucks that there might be a point where, I can't go and see Disaster Artist in theaters and with a crowd. Yeah.
I mean, hold up. Yeah, what he's saying, Chris, is actually true. Regal is, I think, still working out how exactly they're going to do that, but they are finding a system where they can, figure out what exactly is the right way, so they can say, okay, a Lady Bird ticket is $5, while a Star Wars Last Jedi ticket is $15. That is a thing that is actually happening very soon. Something I do want to expand on upon though is we now have these services like MoviePass that is only charging $10 a month, and you can see, I think, up to 30 movies in a month. Just as many days as are in that month, you can see that many movies. That deal is stupidly amazing for anybody. You're only paying $120 a year to see as many movies as you'd like.
300.
Is there a chance? What? Yeah, 365. Smart ass. Is there a chance that something potentially like that could save indie films?
No.
Why not, Brian?
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. So first off, the reason indie films don't make the amount of money that blockbusters make is appeal. Indie films appeal to a very small, very dedicated amount of film goers. Blockbusters appeal to a very large, very wide audience of, if someone wants to go see Thor Ragnarok or Justice League, which Justice League was not a very great movie in my opinion as a diehard film fan, but I have heard so many people who aren't film fans saying, oh yeah, Justice League was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But they don't really go to see quality. They just go to see, hey, does Superman beat the crap out of some people? Yes, okay, it was a great movie. So you have wide appeal versus Lady Bird, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm excited to see, or Disaster Artist, or whichever. They don't come to my market. And that's because I'm in a market where it's very broad spectrum. But if you're in like the small spectrum, like, hey, these are the cool movies that you got to go see. These are the Oscar potentials. Those are very, very small markets. And that's why they don't make money, because they don't appeal to a lot of people. So capitalism, you can't expect these very small appeal movies. Like Whiplash is one of my favorite movies of all time. That movie made almost no money. And why? Because it's got so many F words in it. It's rated R, blah, blah, blah. It's about jazz. Jazz is not very popular, even though I think it should be way more popular. But I can recognize that it's not a very wide appeal. And as far as what Jacob and Chris and whomever are saying, if it goes back to the way it was back in the day where movies are in theaters for a long amount of time, in the 70s and 80s, movies like E.T. and Star Wars, they were in theaters for a year plus. Star Wars, E.T., Goonies, they were in theaters for a year. Jaws, they were in theaters for a year plus. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe 3 to 4 months, sure. But a year plus, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to generally stay the same way that it is now. But blockbusters, because they're very uncontroversial, they don't have a lot to do with politics, they don't have to do a lot with viewpoints, they're escapism, Lady Bird, Whiplash, whichever, they have their certain disaster artists, they have their certain viewpoints and their certain feel to them. They're not broad spectrum, so not a lot of people can go see them and escape the real world. But if you go see Thor Ragnarok, Jurassic World 2, freaking whatever, you can escape the real world and just for a couple hours forget that life exists. And that's why they have such a wide appeal.
Okay, that was dope. That was actually really dope. Matt, really fast, what's
I just want to add something. The other thing is studios, and what do they put the money into marketing? Because the thing is you've walked down the street and you interview like 10 people and you say, do you know what date Disaster Artist is opening in your local theater? Most people won't know. If you say,
they're not even going to know what Disaster Artist is.
But if you say, do you know when Last Jedi is opening? They're going to go, oh yeah, just team.
That's because it's broad spectrum. Who even knows what the room is outside of film fans? That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
that's why they don't make money, because people don't know what these things are, because they don't care, because they just want to see simple things that provide escapism. That's what they want to see.
Clark, as a big fan of escapist movies, we've talked about this before. You like the big kind of movies like King Kong and things of that such, Clark. Where is the what are your last thoughts on where's the future of cinema? Do you see maybe a company like Movie saving indie films, or is it just you're a Movie Pass goer as well? You have Movie Pass and you're not seeing these indie films. I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm trying to take an example and maybe bring something to light.
Clark, your mic is off on.
No, it's not.
We can hear.
No.
Oh no, they can't hear me.
I was muted. Sorry about that. I thought I was going to go through this entire show without a mute fiasco, but there we go. Anyway, when I was saying, guys, before, look, indie movies are not going to make their money through Movie Pass, I don't think. And this whole future that Jacob and Chris were saying about the blockbusters staying in for a longer period of time and indie films not being in theaters anymore, I can kind of see that happening just because the money isn't there. It all comes down to money and dollars. And if the indie movie can make more money streaming and being a streaming only thing for people who are dedicated to watching indie films for the long term, it's probably best. It's probably for the best interest, even though it would be great to go into a theater and see an indie movie live on screen like The Disaster Artist with a crowd. Sacrifices sadly would have to be made. But, it's the industry right now and it's the climate we live
in. Chris Dolman, what are your final thoughts?
Look, obviously... Okay, Evan, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm fixing it.
Don't do it.
Jesus.
Look, the thing is, nobody can accurately predict to an absolute certainty of what exactly is going to happen. We can give ourselves the best idea of what we think certain roads are going to lead to, but no one is ever 100% certain. And that's, I sorry to sound very middle of the road here with my answer, but that is an absolute truth. And to give my actual final thoughts, there will come a day when we officially no longer see independent movies in the theaters. Yep. There will come a day.
Yep.
And that hurts. Because sure, you could up the price for Movie Pass. You could up it to even say $30 a month. And trust me, I will happily subscribe to that if that's what it is. But even with something like that, that can't save the indie films. Because then that means theaters are going to have to do that much more negotiation just to get it in the theater in the first place. And you can look at me like I'm crazy, but think of it like this. The theater chains, and let's face facts, that's also where theaters are going. The days of the mom and pop, smaller independent theaters that just run more obscure flicks, they're starting to go the ways of the dinosaur. I'll even give you a local example. 5 years ago, there were 4 theaters within a 5-block radius in uptown Minneapolis. Now there are only 2, and one of them is struggling to stay relevant. The other one, that one's fine because it has midnight screenings of Rocky Horror, Princess Mononoke, The Room all the time. So that one's fine. The other one, though, it's about ready to go as well. Because audiences don't give a shit about films like Lady Bird, The Disaster Artist, or The Florida Project, for your sake, Evan. They don't care. Because people don't want films with an agenda. They don't want films with perspective. Because we get enough of that in real life as it is. They just want movies that have big action, no character, no plot. That's just stupid, mindless, dumb fun. And that saddens me as a film fan. And also the days of getting blockbusters with actually all that fun stuff, they're numbered. Sure, we had War for the Planet of the Apes, which had a lot of heart to it. We're going to get Last Jedi, which I can presume is going to be a bit of a think piece, but shit. As we were discussing earlier with Tarantino and Star Trek, Paramount is getting that desperate just to make money off of this franchise that's, sadly, I'm calling it now, dead. That they have to resort to the craziest scenario just to possibly revive it. Because audiences gave no shits about Star Trek Beyond.
Really quick on that Quentin Tarantino thing. This will be. Are you done wrapping up your point?
Pretty much.
He is now, I guess.
But here's the thing, Quentin Tarantino. If Tarantino went up to Marvel and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a movie, you guys," they would be all over it. So I'm not sure if that's the right example to use. Because it's Quentin Tarantino.
Hold on though, Django Unchained made money, so things like that's why
Django made Jacob money, but Hateful Eight didn't really do that great.
Jacob,
yeah, that was also a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. Jacob, what are you thinking?
It didn't do well. All right, there's 2 things I want to touch upon. Graham brings up. Okay, actually, I'll go to that in a sec. The first thing with Movie Pass isn't going to say the independent film; it's going to say the mediocre film. A good example I have is there were films like Flatliners, Daddy's Home 2, those bad to middle of the range movies that have bad marketing and people are kind of like, I don't know if I want to see that. Oh, it's free? Okay, I'll go see it. Like those movies, they're getting the box office boost. But the independent films that are playing in 5 theaters and it's a search to go find it, they're the ones that Movie Pass isn't helping at all. Now, so That's one thing about MoviePass, that these the movies, they either need to, convenience is what's going to start saving, like convenience is going to save film. And if it's not convenient for if it's not convenient for me to go see a movie down the road compared to an hour's drive, I ain't taking that hour's drive because it's not convenient. Whereas in down the road, like, we live in an age of convenience. And if it's inconvenient for me to go see a movie, I'm not going to do it. So that is one area that I do think I do think is something that needs to be worked on. The other thing Graham brings up, and it's a very great point, is there is every time on Movie Talk, there used to always be that question of, how come we're only getting superhero and blockbuster films? And then whoever was on Movie Talk would run off 10, 15, 20, 30 incredible and amazing independent. What we're trying to say is those 20 to 30 independent films, they're still going to get made. I'm not saying that these films aren't going to get made. I think they will, but it won't be in a movie theater. They're going to be in online streaming. And you're going to see them, and it's going to be 10, 15, 20 years from now. It's not going to be next year where all of a sudden these 15, 20 films are going to not going to be made anymore, where like a movie like The Post or a movie like The Shape of Water or Lady Bird or something like that is not going to get made at all. No, they still will be made, but they're not going to come into movie theaters and charge $15 a ticket to go see. They're going to be put onto Netflix. It's going to cost $15 a month to get. Or it's going to be put onto an online service where it costs you $50 to see the movie in the first place. Like that's where we're going to go. And that's where I think this industry is moving, and that's where I think to tie it all back into the original question, the purchase of Disney buying 20th Century Fox is closing it is now mainstreaming it's mainstreaming the blockbuster, and the blockbuster is now taking over control even more, and there's not going to be as much diversity in the blockbuster.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. To wrap up my last points on this topic before we give you guys a quick update on the website and the podcast, I want to specifically hit on MoviePass really fast. I'm still not sure a lot of people know how. You pay $9 a month to see a film once a day. So you can have the opportunity of seeing 365 movies a year, which is amazing, and you're only paying $120. Now, what people don't realize about MoviePass is every single movie that you see, MoviePass pays that full total amount of the ticket to the studio. So the studio gets every single dollar that original ticket price is for that film.
Yeah.
It's not a discounted rate. It's literally, if you go in and you use your MoviePass and that ticket costs $15, that studio gets, well, in theory, that studio gets $15. Obviously, there's theater cuts, but that studio gets that full amount that they normally would. What I'm curious where this industry is going is, what if we can turn what if we can turn those indie films into the middle of the road films? What if we can turn them into the facts that, you know what, it is on a screen here. It is on a screen here. Let's turn these indie films into the actual middle of the road films. Let's turn that Lady Bird into Daddy's Home 2. Let's turn that Florida Project into a Flatliners, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
You know, turn it into the middle of the road films. Have it show in one screen in your 20 screen theater. You know, that is convenient. Now, question is the production company A24 going to be able to pump in that type of marketing? Because let's face it, Daddy's Home 2 is all reliant on that marketing. That is where their money comes from. That's how they make that money, is their marketing. Is A24, I reference that because that's the big independent film company this year, is A24. Are they going to be able to build up enough of that money in order to have that type of marketing that Daddy's Home 2 does? that's where I'm interested in. And if it can go that way and we can see more of these independent companies start grow and become bigger and better, then that's where I'm interested to see where the masses go. That's kind of my last thoughts. Yeah, sometimes my head goes in totally different places. I hope more people do take advantage of Movie Pass because more people do need to see more movies. Those are my last thoughts. Look, Disney's going to take over the world. We've known that for a while now. And we're going to move on to an update on our podcast and website. There are multiple moving parts. iTunes sucks sometimes. Jacob, where are we at with that?
At the moment, we are still waiting to hear back from Apple. However, if you look directly above me, there is a feed. And all you have to do with that feed is type it into go into iTunes, go into the podcast feed, and hit subscribe to podcast in file. As soon as you do that, type in that feed, and you have signed up for our podcast stream. Do it for any of your podcast apps. If it works with all of them, all you need is that feed URL. In the description below you can even copy and paste it. It makes life so much easier. Yes. So, guys, that is the podcast feed, and that's all you need. And that will give you all of our shows in audio version.
Yeah. Which is better because you don't want to see our ugly mugs, to be honest.
Saves you a shit ton of data as well.
Yeah, it's very true. Chris Clark as the octopus. How has the RSS feed been treating you lately?
RSS feed was fine. It just was a bit cumbersome to figure out, but I figured it all out. And actually, the website is also above us. Go to the website, look it up, all our cute little bios, our little pictures, some descriptions of the shows. And actually, the RSS feed only displays 100 episodes. So for right now, we have every single episode of the Reactors Summit up. The Robert Meyer Burnett and William Bibiani episodes of the live show. But other than that, all new content will be put up on there in audio form of Suddenly Soundtracks, this show, Nights of the Podcast, the watch-alongs, and the winner is our 2 cents. All of that will be up. All the new episodes will be up there every time somebody uploads something. So look out for that. Bada bing, bada boom. Did I plug everything right there? Yeah.
I think you did okay.
Nice job. Please.
Is there anything else? Please. Is there anything else that we need to add pertaining to this? Anybody?
Yes, guys. Please. If you know of fellow movie fans who maybe you're trying to find something new to listen to, please try to get them. Like just ask them to open up and try to give our stuff a listen.
Like Graham tonight. Like hats off to Graham for joining us tonight. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, Graham, seriously, thank you. Because I know you and I have had a couple disagreements in the past. Oops, but you know, it's one of those things where as a channel, we're always trying to figure out what's working and what's not. And look, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't want any of the shows to go. But if we're not necessarily getting the views to support them staying, I'm worried some of them might have to get cut and or recut. Nice of the podcast. But yeah. So guys, please just however you choose to support us, we can't thank you enough. But try to get the word out a little bit. Try to help send us some love and help us expand the audience even further.
Help us, help you, help us.
Look, it's how any channel makes its money. It's all in the viewership, and if you just watch every day, I mean, that's perfect, but you have to spread the love. You have to let other people know, and that's what I always try to do with channels that I watch and I love, and if you guys could do the same for especially this show, Nights of the Podcast, everything that comes out, if there's something particularly that you love, let us know and let other people know. That way we can keep up, or they can keep up the great work.
And as always, please give us a lot. Please give us the feedback, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Just
somehow, some way.
Please.
Yes. So before we close out the show,
the iTunes feed is now in the description, guys. So you can, I pasted it in there, so you guys can subscribe now. There we go.
What a guy.
Would you like to speak?
I know. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna close up the sign language. I'm just kidding. So before we close out the show, I do want to confirm Graham Butler did try to buy me a beer. That was fun.
Why would you sell him out like that? God.
Wow,
It's in the comments. It's in the comments.
What a snitch.
It's
You know
in the
what,
live chat.
Evan? He knows you live in Florida. Stitches
I
come
can
your way.
confirm that this happened. But let's start plugging ourselves. Chris Soman, where can the good kids find us?
You guys can find me on Twitter and my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN. I've got a new song dropping in about a week, so keep an eye out for that.
Oh, dope!
You guys can follow Take 3 Productions on Twitter and Instagram at Take 3 Trivia. You guys can follow me on Letterboxd and Stardust at Chris Take 3. Please, guys, check out the Stardust app. It's pretty awesome.
Stardust. Jacob, you have your hand raised. Would you like to say something?
No, I'm just in absolute pure shock right now. Something completely different that we will talk later.
Okay, well, can
Spoilers.
you plug? Can you plug yourself?
I can plug myself, guys. You guys can find me at Jacob London on Twitter and Facebook, as well as my Letterboxd, where I do all my movie reviews. Guys, my new show And the Winner Is launched this Thursday. Thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely fantastic. The next episode will launch this Tuesday. Please give it a like, give it a listen. This is a great show. I've got some amazing guests coming up in the future that have reached out to me and said they want to be a part of it. It's going to be fantastic, guys. So thank you so much for all of your support so far. This is going to be great.
Doc Ock, Chris Clark, thank you for running the show again. I very much appreciate it. He puts out all these singers. He makes us look decent. He makes us all the graphics. Just want to say thank you again. I feel like it's a responsibility at this point. Where can the good kids find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Every Wednesday starting next week with Suddenly Soundtracks, we are doing Hercules, where we dissect a movie soundtrack musical song by song and dissect a movie and judge it by the songs that it provide. Or you can find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment. You can find me on Family Game Night right after this at 11 p.m. Super late Family Game Night. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
All right, Matthew Kearns, a Mets fan, a Return of the Jedi fan, a Matthew Kearns fan. Where can the people find you?
What? You guys can find me questioning what Evan DeGraff is saying on Twitter at Kearns_Matthew, my YouTube channel, MattMovie611, and hosting the Movie Fandom Show right here on Take 3. Last episode premiered this past Wednesday. It's a video essay on It's a Wonderful Life. Took a really long time making it. I would really love, spread the love, please. If you haven't watched the video, go ahead and watch it.
It's wonderful.
Share it around, please. I put a lot of work into that show this past year, and I would love it if, while it's on break, if you guys go back, you can find the playlist of all the episodes, share it around, and, do all the things you do. But especially this last episode, I spent a lot of time on.
Well, Ryan, this is kind of your officially last show as a Take 3 Productions member. It's a good send-off. It's you're taking a right step into life, something that none of us can do.
Sure.
You're leaving.
I know you probably have some productions, because you're obviously studying partial film. I know you want to be a director. Where can people find you to keep up with you?
I'll be on Twitter and Instagram at Clan McClellan. That's Clan MCLELLAN. And I'm always and will always be a Take 3 Productions fan. So everyone out there, keep up with these guys. Keep up with what they do. They're freaking incredible. They do all the things. Literally, if there's a show that you're interested in seeing, these guys probably do it. So stick around and pay attention because these guys are the guys to watch. They're going to go big places and do big things. So stick around.
Ryan, from the bottom of my heart, I actually thank you for being not one, a good, guy to work with, but a good friend. We see the world in two totally different ways, but no matter what, we still find a way to get along, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sure that we will keep having you around. I just want to say thank you. And that's how we're going to close out the show. I had a great show with you guys. It was a lot of fun. We talked about crazy corporate stuff. And you guys can find me on Twitter at EvanderGraff15. I tweet about politics. If you do not like that, then I am completely not sorry. And you can find me on my podcast / audio only YouTube video on Archer Sense coming out on Monday, 3 p.m. EST, where Jacob and I break down a lot of things going on in the world of the news and the politics. It is insane at the moment. And the reaction that's coming out very soon. That is a crazy match to the Stars Fatal 5-Way, and just a lot of the other Take 3 content that we are working incredibly hard on for you guys to watch, and we enjoy it too. If we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it, and that's why we're still here. And with that, Chris Clark, make sure you're ready with the end stinger. For Ryan McClellan, for Jacob London, for Chris Stoneman, for Matthew Kearns, for Chris Clark, I'm Evan DeGraff. Take care.